Aragorn and Arwen's love for one another was unusual, since elves and men very, very rarely mingled, and the product had a special purpose in mind, but in a very long-winded way through a distant bloodline where elves and men had mixed in the past. Aragorn and Arwen were related, but how related? Well, I'll get to that. Aragorn is of course the heir of Isildur, who is the line of the king or kings of Numenor. And who was the very first king of Numenor? Oh, it was Elrond's twin brother, who is Arwen's father. Hey, how's it going? This is Gone with Gandalf, where I do the long-winded search of family trees so you don't have to, and then chop it down in frustration. If you enjoy this, then feel free, because it is, to subscribe. So, Aragorn was the chieftain of the Dunedain, and as the heir of Isildur, he was the descendant of the kings of Arthedain, of Arnor, the lords of Andúnië, and then the kings of Numenor, leading all the way to Tar Miniator, the first king of Numenor, aka Elros. Elrond's daughter, Arwen, was therefore a cousin of Aragorn. In fact, if we start from the beginning, and Elros, I'm not going to read out all of the names because you'll see that there are quite a few to get through, and you guys can pause and read through should that interest you, and hopefully you can all read. There were 4 kings of Numenor in this line, and the eldest child of Elendil Parmaite. The 4th one was his daughter Silmarillion, who couldn't be the queen at this point, as the law placed their youngest son ahead in the line of succession. So she would marry a noble, and their child was the first in the line of the lords of Andúnië. We don't know all the names of the lords, but we know that Amandil was the 16th, who was the last lord. He was stripped of his office before the downfall of Numenor. His son was Elendil, and then we get to the kings of Arnor, and to note that Elendil and Isildur were also high kings of both Arnor and Gondor, and also Aragorn was the 39th heir of Isildur, but I'll get to giving the full count later on. I'll show a map of Arnor on the screen right now as I'm saying this to show the location. The map is from a site called Glyphweb, if you want to check them out and are a fan of maps. So, after the kingdom of Arnor, it was split into 3 by the squabble of the 3 sons of Eärendil. We have the procession of the kings of Arthedain here, which fittingly ends with Arvedwi, which means last king in Sindarin. And here is a map showing how the area is much smaller now without the 2 provinces of Cardolan and Rhudaur. And then we finally have the chieftains of the Dunedain, the kings with no kingdom, where we finally have Aragorn, here listed as Aragorn II. So I'll pop those names all back up on the screen and get the scores on the doors. So counting back from Aragorn to Elros, I added 1 for Silmarillion when the line diverted from the line of succession of the Númenorian kings here, and that gives 61. So he is 61 generations removed of Elros, and therefore Elrond too. I believe that makes Aragorn first cousins with Arwen 61 times removed, or 60. I'm not fully versed as to how that works, although they are removed by 60 generations, so maybe that makes it 60. So apologies for that. But this is the 3rd major marriage of an elf and man, and the first in over 6,000 years since the events of the Silmarillion, but that is a video for another time. Let me know if you find something like that interesting. But for now, I'm going with Gandalf. Good day.